Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you another ceremony for the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and maybe one of the most important ones we'll ever have, because to be the fifth member into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, our guest, whose humble beginnings started back in April 2017, all the way in Lafayette, Tennessee, which has led him to over 6,000 subscribers on his YouTube page for the company that he owns and runs called Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. They've got their upcoming season finale where they go Hollywood. They just completed their 156th episode, which was maybe one of their most action packed to date, where they're one step closer to crowning their new World Heavyweight Champion. But before then, our company in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, which our guest here, the fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, owns, has brought out kick-ass matches, some of the best storylines, and wrestlers from all over the world that have put a smile not only on my face, not only on the Sportswire Radio fan base's face, but everybody that has ever watched Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and it has led them to an astounding nearly 500,000 views in the nearly 300 episodes to date for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling and all past present shows that you see on their YouTube page, which we will plug. Our guest, again, he needs no further introduction, but because now it's his time to take place as the fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, alongside the natural born fighter, R.P. Davis, British wrestling legend, Dean Allmark, one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions, the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley, and his counterpart, some would say, XCW owner Fletch. I now present to you the fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, also a three-time heavyweight champion in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, along with being a former Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Joshua Allen. And now I give you that usual introduction that everybody else gets, and that Hall of Fame one that now 5 people have gotten since we've started it. So with that, wait for it. Further ado here on the Spot Report. Number one, Global Sports Show, TBW owner, founder, for a 3-time heavyweight champion, 1-time Intercontinental Champion, and as I've stated throughout, the now 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Mr. My friend, congratulations and Merry Christmas.
Well, how sweet it is! Christmas Eve and getting a Hall of Fame inducted to the Sports Radio Hall of Fame. I want to thank you, Tom, for having me on here this, Christmas Eve, and everybody's busy with the holidays, and of course, some people might not be able to make it due to our men and women overseas, protecting our country, fighting for our freedom. It's an honor to be inducted, into the Sports Hall of Fame. We Fletch was inducted, Justin Parsley, and a few others, and to be in this list of Hall of Famers, it's means a lot, and I thank you for that. And I thank everybody else as well. So.
No, you definitely, absolutely deserve it. And again, from where this company started from back in Lafayette, Tennessee, in April 2017 to where we are, we've been this global juggernaut, and we have, again, nearly 500,000 views on YouTube. We're getting ready to go Hollywood. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about here, and I hope that this is a good Christmas gift for you because obviously we're literally a few hours away from Santa obviously coming down the chimney for most people and giving out those gifts. Although if you're on Pacific or Mountain Standard Time, you got a little ways to go. But I guess then I should ask you because obviously you mentioned the previous names, obviously Fletch, and then also R.P. Davis, the only boxing and world heavyweight champion in wrestling from the UK in the entire history of that country, and then Dean Allmark, who's defeated, oh, by the way, Jushin Thunder Liger and Brian Danielson and wrestled in Impact Wrestling. So amazing, obviously, names that we've put into the Hall of Fame, and you're number 5. So there was people always remember the 5th name. The 3rd name, the 4th name, depends on who you think of, but the 5th one's always going. So I have to ask you the obvious question then. Now what does it mean to you to be a part of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
Well, it's like any other Hall of Fame, man. Whether it's for WWE Hall of
Or am
Fame,
I the first
Basketball
one?
Hall of Fame.
Am I the first one, Mr. Allen, that you've been inducted into? Let's cut to the chase here on that.
As far as like Hall of Fame goes, as a like interview wise or a talk show wise, yes. Not gonna lie,
Well,
first one ever
well,
created, like for that perspective, yes.
first of many. I think that's going to be the
Uh,
first of many because I'm sure you're going to be in many other Hall of Fames. The Tennessee Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm sure there's a Hall of Fame called the Backyard Wrestling Nexus's Hall of Fame. But I don't know why they didn't put you in on that one
yep.
already. But I'm sure there'll be many other Hall of Fames we get into. So the first Hall of Fame that you get to be a part of. I mean, that's got to be a pretty cool feat, I think.
It is, man. Like I said, whether it's whether it's a wrestling Hall of Fame or a sport Hall of Fame, whatever, it's an honor, because and like you say, you always tune into the product, or whether it be in Rampage or one of our events, and everybody's been tuning in. And I appreciate the people that has tuned in for the past seven, 6 odd years that we've been
Almost
doing
7 years.
this.
Yeah, 156
Yeah,
episodes. And
yeah.
it's amazing. We have almost 300 videos on YouTube and almost 500,000
Right.
views. I mean, this juggernaut from, let's talk about this for a second. Obviously, I want to talk a lot about the current because I mean, 156. I think I've watched it like 4 times already, and I've just got
Yeah.
this whole stare down between Gage Flair and Jay Wild and Johnny J. I mean, I'm gonna talk about that. I'm fired up about that. Let me tell you, I'm ready to take my microphone down and just jump around and think about that. But we'll do that in a second. But April 2017, you had this dream, you had this vision in Lafayette, Tennessee, of all places, and and to here we are today, where you guys are recognized all throughout the world. I mean, you're basically the mothership of this sport when it comes to the yard. I mean, what were you thinking back in April 2017 to where we are today, right before Christmas 2023?
Well, I tell you what, Tom. Like you said, 2017, 17 years old, sophomore in high school. Um, growing up, huge wrestling fan. From about 7 years old to now being 24, and I still watch it, and I still enjoy it as I did back then. Still do even to this day. But 2017, I had the idea. Well, previously, for the year before prior, a local wrestling promotion was always up here, and of course they shut down, which I've already brought that up the last
Yep.
time I was on here. They
Yep.
shut down, and and I've told the story 1,000 times, and I'll tell it again. It was me and a few of the TW guys sitting around, and I believe we was in a classroom, lunchroom, hallway, something, and
I remember you
sat down.
bringing that up here. I think the last time you came on the show. Yep.
Yeah, and we're all thinking, well, now that the wrestling is out of town, what are we gonna do? Because the only thing on now is like WWE or whatever was on at the time.
I think we
And
had
I
I
just
think
one of us
Global was
hit up.
Global Force Wrestling. We had Impact to
Yeah,
the scaled down
yeah,
version
yeah.
of it. Yep.
Ring of Honor,
Yeah.
but out of the blue, I just said, let's just start our own thing. I mean, little did I know that it would turn into what it is now, and I can't put it into words. Uh, you know, and I'm getting a little bit teary eyed when
No,
when
don't
saying this.
cry
But
for me on
I,
sports. I know you enjoyed the induction. I know you
uh,
enjoyed the speech. And by the way, there was no teleprompter I had. I basically did that right off the top of my head. So maybe I forgot a word or two, but I think in terms of them, I think these speeches are pretty good. So don't cry on me here in sports because I got a lot to talk about here with you. I
yeah,
got a lot of
I
comments.
know. I just I'm in a it
Well,
just
I think so. I'll give you
I
advice. So now Fletch handled it
yeah
and basically said he was very humbled. Fletch's words last week was he was
yeah
humbled. Justin Parsley, I
yeah
think he was having a good time with it. RPD, the natural born fighter, well, he's RPD and he basically, in a way, kind of had his own kind of twist on it. Dean Allmark was kind of like Fletch with it, but it's Dean Allmark and he's defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Brian Danielson. And
right
he's probably, although he said he hasn't been in a Hall of Fame, I'm sure he's recognized in like 17 Hall of Fames in the UK. So you could certainly compare yourself to those people and see how you want to handle it. But I think at the end of the day
right
here, you have to look at where this company is, what you guys intended to do, and it's really
right
special. I think maybe in some ways you are similar to Fletch because let's think about it. Fletch 20 years ago had this idea. We were going to be explosive championship wrestling. We started out on the ground. We were in the mat. We were in the trampoline. We started to get a small ring. We were in the garage. And then we've moved to the St. Paul's gym. But we've also brought in talent that some of them have gone pro. Some of them have been indie guys in between. But we've put on a product that's been a weekly juggernaut. And it's gone on and influenced so many people. What you guys have done very similar to that with TBW, whether people like TBW or not, you've influenced so many people. And even the people that don't like this company, they obviously watch it because anytime you guys do anything, it gets thousands of views.
right
So you can look at it from that standpoint. I think you and Fletch would be very similar in how I think that you guys both should be inducted. Certainly, I do think that Fletch, to be humbly on the record, I think without Fletch and his vision, there wouldn't be a lot of places. Maybe even what you guys did. Maybe you refined a little bit what Fletch did, put your own twist on it. But I think the point is that you can certainly look at him as a template on how you want to continue to run this company and run it in a way where you're going to have even bigger and bigger people that come in and have thousands and thousands of more views ahead.
yeah. Look, I never thought that we would get to where we are now, man. It's like the humble beginnings was. I'll just be straightforward. The first ever match we ever had was Atomic Titan versus Andrew Clay for the U.S. title. I was referee for that, and and that was the start. That was the very first match, and it went. We had no ring at the time, and it went from that to 6 and 7 years of us busting our ass, our rear ends to get to where we are now, and
No, it is
it's
not easy. What
legit.
you guys do, putting on this company,
No,
putting on
it
this
is
product, what we see with the editing, what we see with the graphics, what we see with this overall product, and to be able to conceptually put it out there so obviously the fans of TBW and elsewhere can see it. It is not easy. And this is definitely, again, to steal a phrase I used about inducting Fletch, this is definitely an endorsement, the putting you into the Hall of Fame that was not given. This was earned by you and a few other people that have been involved in TBW to put you where you are today. This was not given, this was earned. Basically, and you know what? To steal a phrase from Fletch even further, this was earned on April of 2017 when we saw the very first foundations or the groundwork to be
right.
laid for what we have today. So, really, to be honest, you got inducted into my Hall of Fame back in April 2017. So, really, I should have inducted you back in April 2017.
I appreciate it, man, but it's been a long road. I tell you that. From like I said, the humble beginnings of just having that one match, then one match became two or three, two, three, and four. Then getting a bunch of people with the same approach, the same mindset of hey, let's do this, and 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 there was a point in time we legit almost shut the doors at one time
You
because
know,
we
I
don't
was
have
about
like
to ask you about that because it wasn't what we see. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, like kind of quote Rocky Balboa. I mean, this was not all sunshine and rainbows where we have this juggernaut, this machine. I mean,
no.
there had to be moments that you said, as you just pointed out, you know what? I don't know if I can do this anymore. You know, I'm in school and my family's probably looking at this and what am I doing? And, why am I going through with this? I mean, talk to me about those
Yeah.
moments that you were ready to quit and almost kind of like, how do I keep
Well,
going? Talk to me about that.
at at the it was like I believe it might have been season 2 or 3. Might have, but we had like 4 different guys on the roster at that point in time. It was myself, Fat Asian,
The party
Hype, of
killer.
course.
Oh, he's here in the
Um,
comments, by the way. He's got something to say. Oh. I'll get to him later, though. Let's talk about those when the moment you were going to quit.
but anyway, like I was saying before that putts, but anyway. Long story short, we had like 4 different people on the show at one point in time, and you know, we were close to shutting down, but then, um, you know, because at the time we was, I guess people, jobs played a factor, school played a factor, and people not, or not just even showing up at all at some point. But long story short, we thrived and managed and was able to bounce back from a defeat. And we after that, of course, the Engaged Flair came in the picture and other people, and it just boom, you know, went off from there.
How important was Gage Flair, the Nature Boy, in terms of the company and just those days to kind of get you guys over that kind of moment there where, we didn't know if you guys were going to make it?
you know, a lot of people can say what they want to about Gage, the gimmick,
Oh,
but
people love him though on
Gage is.
Sportswire. Everybody that comes on here.
I mean,
Listen, Jimmy
yeah,
Controversy yesterday basically was ready to bust out and do the woo. I mean, Jimmy freaking Controversy last night was here on Sportswire and said Gage Flair, the Nature Boy. I love that guy.
yeah. I mean, Gage has literally turned us around for the better because at the time, we was just scraping by, and trying. I mean, because back then you're young, it's for fun, but now when you've been on the road that we've been doing for as long as we've been doing it now, and it's more of it's now becoming serious, and bringing in a guy like Gage who has done this since longer than me. Um, I have a lot of respect for Gage and his gimmick, and because at the time, there's a little shoot before he came in, he approached me and said, "Hey, I got this idea for a gimmick." He wanted to do a different gimmick besides the Flair thing, and I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Dude, you've been known as Flair
He's
since
got no listen.
'02.
He is Flair. I mean, listen, he's bigger than
Like,
Flair these days. I think every time I mention Gage Flair on this show, everybody universally says they love the Nature Boy Gage Flair, and they all burst out and do the woo. Everybody starts doing that strut and that dance.
I
I mean,
mean,
you can't help it.
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Gage and what he has helped us accomplish. And but like I said a minute ago, I said he said I might do a different gimmick, and I said, hold on here. I said you have done the Flair thing since '02 or even longer. Be the Nature Boy. That is your bread and butter. That's the cream of the crop. Do it, man. And he said, okay. And he's been doing that for us now for a pretty good while, and like and whether you love him or not, you gotta give the guy the props. He is the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing,
Oh,
wheeling
baby.
dealing,
And he's got
so
this. He's
forth and
got
so.
that figure four in the ring. He's got the strut. He's got the look.
Yeah,
He's got that twinkle in the eyes. I mean, I actually watched 156 4 times
yeah,
already this week just because I wanted to keep seeing Gage Flair. Woo! God, I love Gage Flair. I just, I wanted to do that on the air on Sportswire for a while.
Right. I mean, it's I even told I told him like every time it's like I'm watching Flair in the ring. I just
And
he's
Flair
there.
in like
He's
'89,
got,
not Flair now. Flair in
yeah,
'89.
yeah.
Let me
Like
point it out that way.
I'm talking about Flair in the prime, like
Oh
the
yeah.
WC days,
Flair
and
Steamboat, NWA, Flair and Von Erich,
yeah,
Flair and Dusty, not Flair now.
Aaron Sting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Gage is, I have a lot of respect for Gage and all he's done for us and helping us out and helping me out and trying to get us on the track of where we are now. And it's been an amazing ride, and I've enjoyed every second of it. And we're approaching season finale 7. Or as our red carpet Hollywood theme for this one. We've never done a Hollywood type theme with this one before. Thought of the idea. Everybody, we pitched it. They liked it. So there you go. I mean, and we've already got. So it's going to be great. I mean, I'm looking forward to the season finale 7, and then we will be back next year in March for season 8.
Oh, I cannot wait. But before I get to those comments, I want to make sure everybody follows and supports Tennessee Backyard Wrestling and Mr. Allen. You can do that very simply, first of all, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And on YouTube, you can watch the season finale or check all the prior shows like I do anytime I get a chance on YouTube at TBW 2017. And guess what? We've now also put into the ticker here for Sportswire Radio our brand new page, which has obviously been stolen from our friends at Resurrection. Go to the Redbubble website, redbubble.com, /people, /TBW merch shop, because if you want to rock that Atomic Titan shirt even, you want to rock that Gage Flair shirt, or you want to get that simple TB-Dub, 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 that TB-Dub shirt, you just go, people, I was wanting to say, I wanted to make sure we said that there. And also, if you want to follow our fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Josh Allen, on Instagram and TikTok at Joshua Allen _TBW. And also check out his brand new podcast, which we want to play here on Sportswire Radio for free of charge. Make sure we want to hear more people to hear that podcast on Sportswire Radio. In the meantime, you can check it out here on Spotify. And before I do anything, I actually want to give a happy birthday wish, because Mr. freaking Titan wants to actually wonder who this is, but I want to give a big happy birthday to the big man of DBW, Mr. Big Tex, because Mr. Big Tex is actually, if you watch the DBW Merry Mayhem show, he was in the main event there for their World Heavyweight Championship against Mr. Judgment, who in the Kings and Queens magazine is just ranked just outside the top 100. That's for all of the ranked wrestlers who are, independent and underground wrestlers. And he put up a hell of a match against Mr. Judgment. So that's who Big Tex is. He gets a big happy birthday wish. We're going to have Big Tex on back in 2024. So that's who he is. I want to also say hello to our first lady of Sportswire Radio, Miss Zena, who says, wait a minute, she's going to be rocking the Atomic Titan shirt. No, you got to rock the TBW shirt. You're the first lady of Sportswire Radio. You're our first lady. That's what I'm saying. You're the first lady. You got to be rocking that TV Dub shirt, or at least the Nature Boy Gage Flair. Woo! I think I'm getting the woos down right, but that's what we make sure here. Although the Atomic freaking Titan, he might be getting the female fans, because clearly I am certainly outvoted on that. But let me get to a bunch of comments here. But I want to say hello to my buddy Ron. Obviously, congratulations, Ron, on your Green Bay Packers hanging on for dear life with a 33-30 win. Speaking of champions, who we're going to talk a little bit about in a little while from Resurrection Wrestling, our internet champion, D'Angelo LaFlame. Always want to say something about them. Management is here once again. What an honor, TB Dub. You probably know a thing or two about management because you run the company, right? So, what an honor, TB Dub, TB Dub, TB Dub, TB Dub. And well, I got pumped when Commissioner Beast came out this week. I know we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but when Beast came out, I saw him with that hat and that mannerisms. And Beast, I don't know, Beast, there were some things there I saw with him and Jay Wild. I mean, I don't know if Beast is. He's got to watch himself there a little bit. That's all I'm going to say here. I want to say hello also to my guest yesterday, the hardcore werewolf himself, Mac 10. Mac 10, what's up? Resurrection Wrestling. We saw what a thing last night between him Jimmy freaking Controversy, and Mikey Anarchy. And oh, by the way, all three of those men are going to be squaring off in lockdown in a cage of hell match. Oh, baby. Sparks are going to fly. And some, I don't know if those guys are going to walk out alive, or at least in one piece. I want to say hello, obviously, to our co owner and general manager of Resurrection Wrestling, Mr. Joseph Tibbs. Also, yes, doing the woo. If I keep doing woo, I'm going to have no voice. And our first lady would probably be happy about that. But that's, because she's a big Atomic freaking Titan fan. So obviously, that's her situation these days. But hey, what can you do? But she wants to congratulate you, saying, Mr. Allen, congratulations. You achieved a great
Thank you.
deal. You definitely did. You deserve this one. And speaking of things here, the Atomic freaking Titan, he's here. He wants that respect.
Oh,
I'm going to get to him in a little while. I promise you, I'm going to get to him in a little while. And he says, next thing you'll cry about is that beating I'll give you. Well, I will point out, and I'm going to be objective on this because I will certainly be objective, but I did see the Atomic freaking Titan have his issues with Commissioner Beast, the Grim Reaper Joe Anderson, and Russell Cooper. So certainly Atomic freaking Titan. He's got some things on his mind. And by the way, just so we know for the audience, that picture, kind of spoiler alert. I mean, everybody saw 156 anyway. Titan's got a new haircut, by the way. Titan does not look like that anymore. Just pointing it out. He's got the new look now. He's got that almost like Matrix look now. Is he trying for like the
yeah. He went from Zac Efron to I don't forget. No,
he went to like 1999 Keanu Reeves, but like a lot shorter version of Keanu Reeves. So I mean, he's trying something else. Maybe it's because he's hardcore. Maybe it's because you know what? He's the hardcore king, and we need to respect. But I'm gonna get to it's your moment right now, and I want to continue to obviously celebrate you as the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So we'll definitely come back to him. Happy B-Day once again, of course, to Big Tex. He's here with us once again. Thank you, Big Tex. Also, season finale is going to be good. Oh, I cannot wait for season finale. I mean, I cannot wait. Whenever season finale comes out, it is going to be a doozy. It is going to be a doozy. Also, yes, I think I mentioned it. You are the biggest baby face in the underground. I'll definitely talk more about you soon. And he says, all the ladies want me. It's a fact, Jack. Well, I mean, I guess one lady wants him. So, I mean, obviously, I have to move to the side. So what can I say? But D'Angelo Flame says also get a D'Angelo Flame shirt. Yeah, sure. And she also says that she loves D'Angelo Flame. So obviously, like I said, I'm pushed to the side now. So that's obviously, here nor there. But obviously, let's talk about a couple things here in the current person. I want to come back to obviously do a few more things on you being into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But I did want to ask you in terms of, Gold Rush. We've seen now the finals are set between the Prophet Jay Wild and the Nature Boy Gage Flair. I mean, the way 156 ended, I mean, I was almost like, I didn't know what to do. And we've got Jay Wild, who basically was handed that victory. And Gage Flair had to work for that one against the party killer, Fat Asian, who really, I think, might be the unsung hero of this company, another person from the beginnings. But, what can we expect for our audience? I know, obviously, you're going to be very down the line here. Jay Wild, though, has a lot of momentum. He's got a lot of beef with the Nature Boy Gage Flair. But Gage Flair is trying to be an Intercontinental Champion and a World Champion. He's got, oh, by the way, good old Johnny J.
Yep, Johnny J is going to be a factor, but plus, Prophet has got Chaotic and Jinx, so they're going to be a factor as well. So
good point.
Got to watch out for them. But the main event is signed, booked, sealed, delivered. It will be Gage Flair versus the Prophet Jay Wild in the main event for season 97 for the World Heavyweight title. And my thoughts on the whole tournament: great tournament.
Oh, what a tournament! What a tournament it was! I mean, this was...
yeah, it was a great tournament. A lot of people not pleased with the Jay Wild it's getting a pass, but I don't know what
how about
the deal
the Asian Flair match might have been one of the match of the year candidates at TBW. I mean, that was an unbelievable main event.
What a match! Fat Asian, he loves to. Asian is whether he's the party killer or when he's back on the light side of the fence, being for the people, Asian's no slouch. He likes to talk the trash and also get down from time to time. But when he's in the ring, it's all business, and you got to be that way sometimes. But in what a match that was! But it's going to be Flair and Jay Wild in the main event. See that on a 7-man event. Also, we seen on that show as well, Russell Cooper, the Golden Vault briefcase took
What a
on the
match
Hall of
that was!
Fame.
I mean, there was like, I mean, so many weapons there that were used. I mean, maybe Jimmy Controversy, Mac 10, and Mikey Anarchy might want to go watch that match between Russell Cooper and the Atomic Freaking Titan, because there was certainly a lot of weapons I saw that those guys might want to take some notes on, and that they can use in their match at the Cage of Hell on the 27th of January.
Right, and but and a lot of, and of course,
Skateboards, fans. I mean, boy, that was interesting.
what a slew of weapons, I tell you. But of course, at the end of the match, the Grim Reaper got involved, and costed Titan the match. And here's my thoughts on that. I believe Titan deserved every daggum bit of it.
Oh, I
Because
knew you were going to
even
say
though
that whatsoever. Why did I not think you were going to say that?
I'm, it's hey, it's the way I feel, man. It's because we've seen him. When Anderson lost that match to Chaotic, Titan was laughing it up, rubbing it in, and not a good choice there, King. If you even are a king at this point, I mean, whatever you're. I mean, heck, for God's sake, the last time he called the last episode, he called himself a god. I mean, that's how far are you going to go with this respect campaign?
But he is the only Grand Slam champion in the illustrious history of this company. I mean, doesn't he get that right to be called a god? I mean, he is the only Grand Slam champion we've ever had.
Well, everybody's got their opinions on the Titan, and believe me, everybody knows my opinions on the.
Oh, he's very to steal Jimmy Controversy's last name. Some people think he's controversial, others not.
Well, controversy creates cash, is what I've always heard. But
he does bring the ratings. Listen, when the Atomic Freaking Titan is on Sportswire, people stand up and pay attention. I mean, if I bring on, I don't know. I mean, if to be, as a matter of fact, the Atomic Freaking Titan draws more views and eyeballs than Dean Allmark. I mean, I'm going to call a spade a spade. If you talk about the Atomic Freaking Titan on Sportswire, more people pay attention than when the legendary Dean Allmark goes on. That tells you that maybe he is a god. Because you know what? If more people are paying attention to the Atomic Freaking Titan than a guy that defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Bryan Danielson, you know what? Maybe he is a god.
Well, people can have nicknames or monikers, but if you can back it up, then there you go. But the way he is, honestly, Tom, when he came back, I thought he was changed. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't think he was. He came back and all smiles and all this and that, and and then what I seen at All Hallows Mania 3, it's just, was it a ruse? Was it to get in people's heads? Was it to get in the my head, the bookers' heads, the management? I mean, what was? I mean, of course, the way he says people, didn't give him the respect.
But he's also said that he's been the draw since April 2017, as a matter of fact. He said he has been this company. I mean, and some people say without the Atomic Freaking Titan, where would TBW be? I mean, obviously, we talked about Gage Flair, the party killer, Fat Asian, yourself, but the Atomic Freak, even though he's left this company before and, basically tried to go on his own path, but at the end of the day, where the Atomic Freaking Titan goes, so does Tennessee Backyard Wrestling.
Well, that's like I said, people's got their opinions, and et cetera, et cetera. But at one point he left, venture out to other places, and but while he was gone, people like myself, Gage Flair, held the ship for a long time, and others as well. And when like I said, when he came back, I thought he was changed. I thought he was, okay, he's different. Maybe, I don't know. And then, of course, it only takes a long time for a snake to show his true skin. In the end, I was right, and so.
Well, you know what? I got
But
tons of comments here. And by the way, just if you're out there for the first time,
sure.
we were on Sportswire Radio here now with the fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, recently inducted the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and that is Mr. Joshua Allen. My name is the Reverend Tom Dice. If you want to follow us here on Sportswire Radio, you want to check us out, you can certainly do that here on our YouTube page where you can watch past, present, and future Sportswire Radio shows. You can also check out Mr. Allen on Instagram and TikTok at Joshua Allen underscore TBW. And also check out his brand new podcast, Beyond on the Squared Circle podcast. So make sure you check that out. There's a link here in the link below. And let me get to some more comments. I appreciate our First Lady basically letting us know that, well, I'm not quite a god, but I do appreciate that you are acknowledging that I am the person for you because, well, I should be. No, I'm only kidding. We love our First Lady, and that's why she's our First Lady, and we're very, very, very grateful and appreciative that she is our First Lady, and we only have eyes for the First Lady, so we appreciate that very much. But also, let's get to Big Tex. Titan is nothing. He might be hardcore champion. However, I could beat him maybe in the future. Well, that's something that obviously the companies of DBW and TBW have to figure out. But speaking of people who have been giving a hard time to the Atomic freaking Titan, boy, Commissioner Beast, the mood that he was in, I think this was the most beast-like I've ever seen him on TV. I mean, and he's handled some real tough competition. And certainly Commissioner Beast, has those eyeballs. And he said he was coming on the Sports Wire in 24. And I really would not want to be in anybody's shoes that crosses into the eyes of Mr. Commissioner Beast. And that means the Atomic freaking Titan is one of them.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding, man. You're not kidding at all.
And Jay Wild as well, because Jay Wild and him had some
Yeah.
big words. And, something tells me here, Commissioner Beast is not going to let the prophet Jay Wild slide on that one.
Right. I mean, Beast has done a tremendous job as commissioner.
He's been very fair. He's been down the line.
Yeah.
He's been fair. He has not really favored anybody one way or another.
And I think Jay Wild, took it upon himself to provoke the bear, so to speak, or provoke the beast. And yeah, not a good move there, Prophet. I mean, the Prophet's got his followers and people. There's people that they like him, people that don't. But he just crossed the line there, Prophet. I think he might pay for it. I mean, I don't know what is going to transpire. I mean, Beach is beat. Like I was, watching the program. Beach was in a foul mood. Titan got, of course, Titan was seen backstage laughing when Beach was walking in the back,
and I think that kind of came back to bite him almost in a way because
he about got the
somebody else here. Yeah, and there's somebody else here who's going to say something about Mr. Atomic freaking Titan very shortly. And I believe this is our Ref Carter. I believe Ref Carter is here. Of course, our top official, our senior official, and TBW. If that is Ref Carter, want to say hello to Ref Carter. Obviously, the best ref in the business. He is probably in the best shape of any referee in the business, by the way. He is figuratively and literally. He is actually, I'm serious. Ref Carter is in I don't think the man has an ounce of fat on him. I mean, Ref Carter is in phenomenal shape. And certainly the First Lady, you better not be having eyes on Ref Carter on TBW TV. Speaking of people that I think I'm going to see it was fun. It was funny. I think some people I'm seeing tomorrow at some point will be Soldier GP, the IMF World Heavyweight Champion. How you doing, Soldier? Merry Christmas to you and obviously the rest of the people in the IMF, along with your beautiful wife. I say hello to you as well. The Grim Reaper, Joe Anderson, as I promised, is here. And he says his reign will come to an end at season finale. And he also says he will dance with the devil at season finale. I promise I will show him hardcore. I am a 7-time hardcore champion.
Well, Anderson is, with me being a former, I guess, advocate of Anderson.
I wasn't going to bring up that part, where you did advocate for a few world champions. I certainly could have mentioned that in my monologue, but I was trying to, get you in a positive note.
Yeah, I mean, and Anderson, when it comes to the hardcore division, Anderson is no slouch. I mean, you can ask Mandy Cobra that question. You can ask.
How about
Jacob
the Resurrection
Young,
guys in the Resurrection TBW match?
Yep. And as far as I'm concerned, it is going to be. I mean, Anderson said it himself. For the first time in a long time, it will be the Hardcore King versus the Grim Reaper We're going old school with a good old fashioned table TLC match. TLC. We have not had one of them in a long, long time. It's been a long time since we've had a TLC match. I can't tell you how long it's been. We've had one, but we are
Well,
going to
go
have
and
one
watch the
yet.
TBW
Bringing it back.
YouTube page at TBW 2017 is where you can actually find out.
Yep, exactly. We've not had a TLC match in a long time. We're going to bring it back for this grudge between the Hardcore King, self-proclaimed Hardcore King, and the River Joe Anderson. But you know, honestly, but of course also the main event, which is you know Flair and Wild, and a lot of people might have their opinions on who's going to win or think that's going to win, and I mean it with that match, it's going to be it could go either way with this
Oh,
one.
a
You know,
1,010%.
yeah,
But wait, before I get to some comments, because Mr. Tibbs has a great question I want to get to in a second. But if you can you keep that music, like that Kanye music, and I feel the morning? Can we please keep that music in TBW?
uh,
And then I love it in merchandise. We get kind of that little, like, I guess that I don't forget the song, but it's like that female voice. It go da 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 da. Like, you know what I'm talking about? You guys go into the merchandise, like segue for the merchandise. We're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
keep it. I love that. So I love that little snippet. We have to keep that. Also, we have to keep that Kanye music. Da, 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 da. It's just amazing when
yeah,
we get that. I loved some of the music we had. I think we had Kevin Rudolph one. I think for not too long. I remember I'm trying to think.
yeah.
Let it rock. Let it rock.
Let it
Let it
rock. Yeah,
rock.
yeah,
That was another good
yeah.
one. I mean, the TBW music. What we do. This is why you gotta support TBW. TBW 2017, over 6,000 plus subscribers. Join the movement, support this company. Think about where it started from the humble beginnings in Lafayette, Tennessee, to now being a worldwide juggernaut that has now been recognized in a Hall of Fame, a worldwide Hall of Fame in the Sportswire Radio's Hall of Fame. I have a great question, though, obviously, from Mr. Tibbs, and I want to get to, by the way, I want to also wish Mr. Tibbs once again a very, very happy belated birthday. What is one story from TBW over the years that stands out to you from your experiences?
Oh, good lord! There's
And don't tell us the Nemesis sessions with James Taylor.
oh man, there's been so many stories and good lord, do we have time for one? Hold on, let me think here.
Listen,
We
you're
got
Joshua Allen. I'll give you 12
he
hours because I
got me
think
he got me with that.
management. By the way,
I'll never forget.
management said a few shows ago that I should do a 12-hour stream. Clearly, somebody's trying to get me off Sportswire. Our first lady might agree with that because she would probably get all the LLC and all the royalty checks. I'm sure that would be a great idea from her
Oh
beneficiary
man.
standpoint. But I mean, clearly. I mean, that was one thing, but what do you want to say about this? So I'll give you all the time in the world. You're a Hall of Famer now.
I mean, stories or moments, even matches. There's been a few. There's been a bunch of great matches. You know, you know, gay. Flair's matches are always phenomenal. Uh, of course, there's Anderson does a tremendous job. Young, all
Jacob
the
Young.
guys, Jacob, all the guys, who started out with Anderson as the Southern Wrecking Crew. Uh, but yeah, we've had a lot of great. There's been a lot of great moments and matches and stuff. And honestly, Joseph, I can't even think of one at the top of my head. I mean, there's been so many of them, but it's just let's see, you know, but definitely, you know, the story. I mean, you said story. I mean, just the way that everything has been happening, for all these years. It's hard to fathom. It's kind of crazy to even fathom that we have been doing this for so long. When we was all in high school, and now we're out of high school, we're all adults now, and it's phenomenal.
And you've
But
influenced pro wrestling companies. Listen, pro wrestling companies,
yeah.
Our brothers at Resurrection, you've influenced. I mean, that's the juggernaut that TBW has. I mean, you guys, basically are ticket sellers. I mean, there's very few people that can say that you guys are legitimate ticket sellers.
Oh yeah. I mean, here's a little story, a little
Good, good,
shoot
good.
ish kind of. Me and myself, we went. There was this independent promotion in Chattanooga, Tennessee. There was a guy there. I'll shout his name out. World class Channing Thomas up in Massachusetts. Great performer. up there in the north part of our United States, and he got in contact with one. He said, "Hey, have all, you know, how about see you TBW guys down there? Because Channing Thomas discovered us through the pandemic and all that stuff, the
Sure,
COVID and
sure.
all that stuff, and of course we all got there, and I see it, and I see Channing over there selling the merch, and all of a sudden I hear Painmaker, and I'm like, yep, that is Channing Thomas. And
That's a
I
good
tell
one.
you, and dude, it was to have independent guys notice you. That is just it's
Listen,
phenomenal.
I
And
said it a
heck,
few minutes ago.
even
Listen, you guys in TBW. Listen, I'll have the pro guys on. Listen, Dean Allmark's a living legend. I'll have RPD on. Yeah, RPD. I'll have Bentley on. And to be honest, like if I talk TBW, you guys get far more engagements than them. Because I think that there's a fascination in that people love what you guys do. Not to say our pros don't do a good job, but they don't have the followings, and they don't cultivate their fans like you guys have. You guys have been in such good touch, and you guys have been so direct with your fans, the TBW fan base. I mean, you guys have such a relationship. I think that's what it is when independent shows, independent guys want to gravitate to you. And we do these shows on Sportswire. I will have on my pro wrestlers. I will have Gareth Angel on right after New Year's. I'll have Bentley on the following week. I just had RPD and Dean Allmark, and to be honest, I had you and Titan on in the last month, and I even listen. We'll go back, and I'll even throw Jacob Young in there. You guys, I think, had far more people react to that than when these guys who are legitimate world champions and guys that have really they've been there and done big things. I mean, that's the honest truth.
yeah, I mean, and it's an honor. I mean, heck, even after that show, Channing came up to the ones that went, including myself, and he said uh, when we all got there, all the guys in the back popped for us, and Channing told the boys in the back they're here for me, and I thought that was kind of cool that to get that from Channing, because and it was really cool to he's like, also the guy that was repping the show actually sent me a message on Facebook, and he said, "Hey man, it was good to see you all there," and I'm thinking, wow, it's just it's phenomenal to have people that is in the independent circuit is seeing what we're doing, and that just motivates me, especially me, and I'm sure a lot of other guys, to put in more effort to make
Absolutely.
on the show.
And you guys will continue to do that, and I have no doubt
I thought.
that people will see more of you on TikTok and Instagram at Joshua Allen _ TBW, and also your brand new podcast. I have tons of comments. Let me get to people here. Soldier GP says, I wish Atomic Titan would realize the only hardcore champion that matters is my tag team partner, Omen Black, who won the first ever IMF Hardcore Championship. And Mr. Tibbs also says he agrees with Soldier GP. So there you have it. So the Atomic freaking Titan, he's got to watch himself. Want to say hello to Brandy Carter. I want to say hello to another world champion and wish him a Merry Christmas. We're going to be actually wrestling somebody, I believe, on New Year's Day that worked for your company, Jack Delta, and the good guy, CJ Black, who also says that you're his favorite world champion, but you don't have a world champion, right? So obviously you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
right.
one of the
Sure,
champions.
right. Sure, sure.
Well, I'm going to leave him and Jack Delta to basically him and that. Obviously, Fletch has got an opinion on that as well because
Yep.
he's now his new age champion. Ref Carter with the muscles because Ref Carter's got the guns. And so Commissioner Beast agrees. And also, our First Lady wants to wish Mr. Tibbs a very happy belated birthday. Yes, that's definitely true. Also, want to say hello to somebody we enjoy. We hope to see him more in 2024. That is Mr. Jacob Young. And he says, congratulations to Mr. Allen. Will you see me at season finale 7, or will I be watching from the sidelines? Tune in and see. We might find. There he goes. Jacob Young continues these riddles. He's almost like the Riddler now. I mean, Jacob Young, in 1 minute, he says one.
I was fixing to say the same thing. Yeah, he's kind of got this Riddler esque about him. Definitely for sure.
We'll find out, I suppose. But to guess, Jacob, I definitely hope that you'll tell me whatever will happen after season finale. I want to wish also our very good buddy, Mr. Skulls, very well, the Soul Hunter.
Top
He's
Skulls.
recovering from his car accident out in California. Merry Christmas. Hopefully, ho ho as well to you. And another good one from Mr. Tibbs. Is there one funny moment that stands out most in TBW?
Oh, yeah, and it actually involves me. I'll mention myself here. There was
Uh oh. Uh oh.
episode. This is when I was a heel. Uh, Episode 69, I believe. I was doing this celebration when I was. This was during my Continental Championship run. And of course, Titan was the baby face, and I wound up getting cake in the face, and I've got cake in the face twice
How did the
on
cake
different
taste,
occasions.
by the way? How did it take? How did it taste?
Well, I was wearing it more than I was eating, but anyway, long story short. But I've got cake in the face twice. I got it from Agent and from Titan, so yeah. But hey, it, you gotta have some entertainment in wrestling at sometimes, and I've been
Well, Gage
on the
Flair had to
receiving
take
end
the
of
fat
that.
Asian stink face. I mean, he had to deal with the stink face.
Yeah, poor Nate. I think out of all the guys that took the stink face, I feel bad for the Nate more than any of them. I'm sorry, but yeah, sorry, ladies. I mean, as Josh Ross said, the Marriott was closed that night due to Flair receiving the stink face, and shoo, yeah, I feel bad for Flair. After that one.
Well, you know what? Obviously, I'm sure, many funny moments, and you can again watch all of those funny moments very simply on YouTube at TBW 2017. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, if you want to buy some merchandise, go out there and buy some TBW merchandise, like the likes of Fat Asian, the Party Killer, the Nature Boy Gage Flair, Johnny J, Mr. Allen himself, maybe even Grim Reaper Joe Anderson, Jacob Young. Who knows? Maybe
Right.
you even like the Atomic freaking Titan. I mean, maybe you like Shane Davidson. Maybe you like Alan Michaels, the trendsetter. I mean, there's a lot of people you could find some merchandise for, or the classic TBW logo. Make sure you do that, because we love those TBW banners. I love the banner of TBW. Every time we come out and see the shows from Rampage on this, we see that TBW logo. I just love all of that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. And we're going to induct our 6th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame coming up Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to have on Ernest Dove. Ernest Dove is actually somebody who's worked in the New York Mets organization. He's done some work, doing some press work, articles. He's been a freelance writer. He's wrote about a number of different New York Mets that have come up and had careers. He's also been on Sportswire Radio for almost 5 years. We're going to get to hear Ernest's side of the story. We'll see if I do a better job with Ernest as the 6th member of the Sportswire Radio and his ceremonies Hall of Fame thing than I did with Mr. Allen. Hopefully, I wasn't too bad in Mr. Allen's 5th induction speech that I had for our other Hall of Famers. But I'll also be back at 9:30 p.m. that same time with a guy, Chase Wakefield, who some people have heard of. He's in a company called Dominant Breakout Wrestling, also in Versus the World Wrestling, and he's also a ranked wrestler, and he's got a lot to say. He's coming back on here, so we'll see what he has to say Tuesday night. But if you like what you hear from us again on Sportswire Radio, I hope you follow us on a number of different platforms if you're watching us the first time. You can do it very simply here on sportswireradio.org, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And if you have a podcast like Mr. Allen's or like Mr. Fletcher's, who I'm going to get to next, you can give it to us here, and I'll take care of it for you free of charge. I'll take care of all the editing, the engineering, the maintenance, all that stuff to give your chance and opportunity to be heard on a worldwide internet radio station. So if you have a podcast or any music out there you'd like me to recommend to take a look at, I will also do that for you as well. And also, if you want to check us out, we'll have our blog, which Mr. Allen has been focused on. He's going to be focused on again here tomorrow or Tuesday, as we're going to do a big write-up for him as the 5th member of the Sports by Radio Hall of Fame on our Tumblr page at Sports by Radio. And if you want to watch past, present, and future TBW shows, very simple. Link right there at Sports by Radio 6579 backspace streams here. Before I get to comments, I did want to bring up the man that was most recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. That was Josh Fletcher, because I spoke with Mr. Fletcher. Now, he said something interesting. Now don't elaborate on what Mr. Fletcher said, but he had told us here right before we went off the air that he actually got a chance to speak with you for the first time not too long ago. And he actually said for us, he had to say that he was a lot more, I guess, taken back than he thought he would have been. He was very impressed with you. He thought maybe even that he would want to talk about that conversation you and him had it at some point here on Sportswire, because obviously we cover XCW just as often as we cover TBW. And I was curious, obviously, for you, Mr. Allen, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, without going into too further details, is there anything that you might want to share about Mr. Fletcher, or anything that, inquiring minds might want to know?
Sure. Me and Fletch, of course, Fletch will be my owner of XCW in Shelbyville, Indiana, XCW. Check those guys out. Tremendous work that they do up there, and I will say I'm a big fan of their production as well. Love their stuff. Great talent, great group of guys they got. Me and Fletch had a conversation on Instagram, and it was just a simple, two owners having a conversation, and about the wrestling and the promotions and all that, and I'm not gonna get into too much details, but there's been some talks, and there might be some things in the future, which I'm not, like I said, no, not
Don't
gonna
don't
spoil
don't do it
nothing.
here, because he said the
Yeah,
same thing here. He basically said,
yeah,
"Look, I can't go into detail. I just
I
want to
can't either,
say
so
it
I'm
was a
gonna,
nice conversation. We got to know each
yeah,
other a little bit. We really hadn't
yeah,
spoke before." And I just want to say real quick, and I want to say hello to some people and wish people Merry Christmas in a second as well. And thank you
yeah.
for some of the people, some friends of the show, and some upcoming guests coming on. But I always thought for a long time. I don't want to say that there was a tension between the companies. I don't know if there was a friendly rivalry, but I'm really glad that you guys got a chance to formally speak, because I think about, obviously, the cream of the crop of the companies in this sport. It's you and his company, frankly. I mean, I think obviously for different reasons, you obviously got the
Oh
ratings, and
yeah, for
and
sure,
he
for sure.
basically is, to me, the godfather of this sport. Without him and his vision, his belief, I mean, I think in a lot of ways he inspired people throughout the world. And I think what you guys have done is very similar. So I would think that at the very least, it's good to know that XCW's owner and the TBW's owner have a friendly relationship, because at the end of the day, it's good for this sport that the two premier companies in this
Definitely,
sport, the
definitely.
two most revolutionary and groundbreaking companies, could at least be eye to eye, instead of rather this weird, almost like Cold War Soviet Union vibe maybe we thought in the past was going on.
Not like there wasn't a like a war per se. Of course, we was doing our thing, they was doing their thing, and like I said, I'm not wearing my hat, but right now my hat's off to Fletch and all those guys up there at XCW, and what a talent,
Oh my
what
God!
a lot
Oh my,
they have, man.
XCW
I'm
is the
telling
gold standard. Their roster is
yeah,
just like, I mean, they've got over 30 people in their roster. There's another company I'm going to get to in a second, but I mean, 30 people are on that roster, and they have guys apparently coming up that are pro wrestlers that are actually coming in to XCW. What does that tell you about their roster?
that tells you a lot. You're gonna be working with professionals in a company like that. Oh yeah, that's gonna do a lot of good business for XW. Like it reminds me of the when SCW got two independent like professional guys with them at that one when they
I
had it,
remember that. Yeah.
back in the day. So it's kind of the same concept, and I wish Fletch and XCW the best of luck in 2024 and the future. Like I said, I have no animosity toward XCW. Like I said, I enjoy watching the product, and I watch other products because I want to to kind of to see how the other places are, and like I said, I enjoy Fletch's work. I enjoy SCW. There's another promotion. I can't remember the name, but I know there's one guy specifically. Let's see, Mr. Judgment.
Well,
Definitely.
that's company's called Dominant Breakout
Yep,
Wrestling.
that's
And
it.
he's
Yep.
actually
I
here. But
know
it's
those
funny
guys
you
too.
said that, because I happen to think he's the best big man in this sport right now. I happen to think right now, because he's, again, nationally ranked. So he's
I
amazing.
tell you one thing, man. Not to interrupt, if I could book a dream match, it would be Jay Watt versus Mr. Judgment by far, hands down.
Now,
That would be
Now,
a dream match.
now, obviously, I know this is your moment to be in the Hall of Fame, but Mr. Judgment is here,
Yep.
and I now obviously Jay Wild's got to win the TBW title first, but I think of the dream scenario there of the Prophet Jay Wild and the Prophet of Purgatory himself, the Prophet of think about it, it would be a Prophet versus Prophet match, the final boss against Jay Wild, and think about he's got chaotic, and he's got the heretics. I mean, it's an absolute dream scenario. If you needed help with this, obviously, it's one fellow businessman to another. Certainly, I'm sure on Sportswire, we could definitely come up with a way to promote this, right? We could definitely. You think we could find a way to help promote this? You think we can do that? Because I think that we can certainly find a way to, make that match happen. Because I think that Mr. Judgment, and let's say it is the Prophet Jay Wild, I think a lot of money is to be able to be made. And I think about Mr. Judgment's following, and his company, by the way, Dominant Breakout Wrestling, has 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. They have a massive following, and they've basically cornered the Mid-Atlantic market. So, I mean, if we're thinking about the territories, you guys got the South, Fletcher's got the Midwest, Judgment's got the
Yep.
Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. I mean, I say, why not?
Hey, never say never, man. You never know what to expect. I mean, yeah, that's the golden rule in wrestling. Those three little small words: never say never. But yeah, man, that would be an epic match to have the Mr. Judgment versus Jay Watt if it could ever happen. That would be View City in my opinion. Also, there's also another place I would love to work with. Mr. Navon McDonald, the King of the Mountain, Mr.
Oh,
NUW, I believe is what they're
Mr.
another
Navan
place
McDonald,
I
that's a good one
definitely.
there because he was recently one of the DBW champions, and Navan McDonald is a huge part of
Yep.
things. He's got his own company. Boy, Navan McDonald, that's a good name you brought up there. Navan McDonald. Interesting name there you brought up.
Oh yeah, I've seen his work. I enjoy his work as the King of the Mountain or Novin, whether what persona he entitles, and what a production they have, and
Oh my God,
I
VTW
have nothing
production.
but
Yeah, it's an unbelievable
oh
production.
yeah,
But I think I learned that what, you and Fletch, at least the bread maybe was broken. We'll see what it leads to. Mr. Judgment's here, and he even says for the first time, Atomic Titan, Mr. Judgment, I'm Atomic Titan. Nice to meet you. Mr. Judgment says, nice to meet you, mortal. And what a
oof.
dream match that would be between Jay Wild and Mr. Judgment. Ooh,
It,
baby.
it 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 would be a barn burner.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby. And I want to also wish some people well. Also, want to give a big shout out to Soldier because he says basically he had a great time in XCW, and he basically beat to a near bloody pulp the first real tag team champions, Justin Parsley. Also, your counterpart in the Hall of Fame in Sportswire, and Rob Slater, the Essential One. So obviously, thank you for reminding me for that good one. Soldier did a great job. Soldier's going to be on here probably tomorrow. Want to say hello to a guest upcoming, Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. Ace Reed is here. He says, good day to me. Good day, Josh. And he says, Merry Christmas. It's actually Christmas
Merry
where
Christmas.
he is right now in Australia. So Merry Christmas to you. And I hope that you got what you want. Nicholas Clenton is here. Of course, the new Messiah, former RCW world champion from
Evening.
WCE. And he says, Merry Christmas Eve, Reverend, and also to yours truly and to yourself. Also, Jacob Young in Riddles Continue says, sometimes a good riddle is all you need. Merry Christmas. If you think I'm pulling the strings, that I'll be in the bad guy in the story, that's okay with me. I live in the darkness. Well, riddle me this, riddle me that. Jacob Young continues to live in riddles. Um,
Right.
okay. 2024 is going to be an interesting year. Yeah. And
Oh yeah,
2000,
yeah, definitely,
in
100%.
2023 isn't even done yet. God tier production. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back to some of those things, but I wanted to ask you in terms of
Sure.
TBW going forward. Obviously, we've got all these views, almost 500,000 views. But what's next to accomplish? Obviously, now that we've established that this company is started from the humble beginnings to where we are now. I mean, what's next for TBW?
Well, what's next for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling? I mean, just keep on the road we're going. I mean, you never know what to expect in this line of wrestling. Like I said before, never say never. Um, there's a great group of people that I would love to work with, whether it be 2024, even in the future, and heck, even um, just I don't want to break the fourth wall or anything, but
Yeah, I'm glad you watch these shows because
yeah,
I say that all the
yeah,
time. My first lady of Sportswire gets mad at me all the time. You always say the fourth wall. Yeah, breaking the fourth wall because it's kind of like that's what we do here. We're breaking the fourth wall.
yeah,
We're a
yeah. I
wrestling
mean,
show. That's what we do.
yeah. I mean, of course, if anybody has seen on Instagram about 2024, my plan is to hopefully get back in that 16 by 16-foot ring. That's one of my goals is to get back in the ring. I've not, I've been going to the gym. I've been putting in the work.
I saw you have been like you've transformed
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
I mean, you're giving Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, a run for his money because you're pumping iron like there's no tomorrow. I mean, Ref Carter pretty soon is going to be in for a run for his money with the shape you're going to.
Well, I mean, I'm working my cardio is the main thing for me right now, I'm gonna assume when I get my cardio in control, I'll generally graduate from the cardio to maybe some weights over time, but you got to it's a pace for me. It's a life changing thing. It's not from either a wrestling standpoint or even a medical standpoint. But hey, I've my goal is to get back in there and duke it out with the best of them, and maybe even cross paths with people outside of my promotion. Uh, whether heck, I mean, if heck, it could be interesting one day to see in a ring. Could you imagine Fledge versus Josh Allen, owner versus owner inside a ring? Could you imagine that in a
You
ring? I mean, never
Fletch.
say never. I mean,
Oh my God. I mean, and you know what? How about this?
I mean,
Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. You have to bring that up. That's Sportswire Hall of Famer versus Sportswire
I
Hall of
mean,
Famer. The winners
I mean,
maybe the
man,
greatest
like
the
I
winner's
said,
the greatest Hall of Famer of all time in Sportswire history.
like I said, never say never, man. But my goal right now, I've been kind of, sitting back and letting all the other guys, have their run in the sun, and that's what you need to do because I've been in a main event role as in a manager. Of course, I'd manage, of course, back in the day I did manage,
Yes.
Atomic Titan, and then
In
I
a prior
managed
life, yeah.
Anderson in a prior life. Yeah, definitely by far. But long story short, my goal is to eventually get back in there and duke it out with the best of them. Maybe shut up Titan once and for all. That's on my New Year's resolution for God's sake. If you
Oh,
forget.
I don't have to ask. I don't even have to ask you goals for 24 New Year's resolutions. You basically said that
Yeah.
you're going to basically go out there and, do something to the Atomic freaking Titan. And apparently, our first lady wants to say Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. No, well, I'm not in the ring. I'm going to basically, I'm not going to be a part of that match. And I'm obviously, not in the ring. So I'm going to let the
That'd be like some Andy Kaufman type stuff
yeah,
there.
I don't think that's in my thing. I don't think
Uh,
that's what I want to do. I've got a hard enough time trying to do these monologues and these introductions, these ceremony speeches. So I'm going to certainly say the first lady, you can certainly dream, dream a little dream. But Hall of Famer, though, first Hall of Famer sounds like maybe that could happen one day. Nicholas Crenton also wants to say, I do need to take a trip to Tennessee one of these days.
you know
Uh,
what?
yeah.
Speaking of Crimson, he is like the way his moniker is, the way he presents himself, he is kind of like the Johnny J of his company. The way he works,
Yeah, kind
he
of.
reminds me of Johnny J in a bit, kind of. But like I said, I enjoy Cranston's work, and I enjoy everybody else's work, and But hey, like I said, 2024, you never know what to expect, whether it be TBW, XCW, or you know EBW, Extreme Breakout Wrestling, or whatever company may be. You never know what to expect. It's like the backyard wrestling territories, like you said earlier, man. You never know what to expect.
No, you never know. No, obviously, and
You
you
never
never know.
know.
I mean, we see all these great companies on here, and obviously TBW to me has been, certainly at the top of the list. And Mr. Tibbs wants to say he would love to work with XCW and WCE sometime as well, and I think
WC is
that would
another good
certainly
one.
be interesting to say. But I wanted to, before I transition maybe back to Mr. Titan, I wanted to ask you a couple different things here. Now, for the audience
Sure,
that doesn't know, let's talk about your podcast real quick. You've recently
sure,
basically rebooted the
sure.
podcast, and for those that are listening and watching, talk about the podcast. What has led you to kind of do something a little bit different, and what we might expect on that show.
Well, I started doing a podcast. You know, back then I had it called Paymaker's Corner, but I changed it to Beyond the Squared Circle. When I interviewing a bunch of guys in the backyard wrestling scene, and here the previous one before the new one that came out, I got to interview Mr. CJL Chris J. Lazarus from Australia in a company called Explosion Pro Wrestling, which is in Australia. Who at the time, I sent the message. I said, anybody wants to join on my podcast to be a guest, shoot me a message, and he did. And I found out that he's been an actual fan for a long time. That really surprised me that him to be a fan, and of course, and I also found out that the company, the independent place he works for now, a lot of those guys that he knows that he works with, they all came from the yard. So that whole process of from the yard to the independent circuit, it follows suit with a lot of people. I mean, look at what Resurrection has done. They
Oh my
went from
God.
they went from the yard to the becoming a semi-pro independent company, and my like I said, my hats off is to Resurrection. I've enjoyed this partnership with them, with Joe and
I mean, what
Sportswire.
Resurrection has done. I mean, to me,
Oh yeah,
I mean, having Jimmy. I mean, what Jimmy and Controversy has done, and I continue to say it, having Jimmy's stamp of approval, that endorsement is so big. They've got Mikey Anarchy now coming in. You got Mac 10. I mean, you've got some phenomenal talent in Resurrection. And they're a footprint, and a model that a lot of people should emulate. And what a story! And just them having Jimmy Controversy. I mean, you can't ask for a better endorsement right now.
exactly right. I mean, what a it's just like I told Joe, I said that when you guys brought Jimmy there, I said, guys, this will open the doors for them. And now Joe said he's in talks with Obey. He's in talks with like you said, Mikey
Yeah, Mikey
Anarchy.
Anarchy came on the show
Yep,
yesterday and basically announced himself.
yeah,
I'm going to be in Cage of Hell. I mean, Obey was talked about, and I mean, I had Obey on 2 weeks ago. And
I
Obey,
mean,
by the way, came on the show with a gun. He
yeah,
actually had a gun on him.
okay. That's some Brian Pillman type stuff right there. But anyway,
You know
nevertheless,
what? I think people looked at me. I actually shared. I'm in a British boxing WhatsApp group, and I
yeah,
shared the clip. I figured, okay, let's get these boxers, all riled up. They were like, "Did he just do that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He told me off the air. He actually started clicking the gun off the air.
yeah, and but let's see, what was it? But yeah, and they're also I think Joe even he said he talked to let's see who else did he said he talked to. I don't want he said
I
let
mean,
me
I
think.
think so. Basically, what we know about Resurrection, obviously, without going further into the fourth wall, basically,
Yeah.
Mikey Anarchy revealed himself as the person that was going to be the new person, the mystery person that was going to be a part of the lockdown show. Jimmy
Yeah.
Controversy came on the show and basically confirmed he's also going to be a part of Cage of Hell. And Mac 10 came on the show and challenged both of them. And now,
Wait,
obviously,
yeah, he I
and
just
Mr.
remembered.
Tibbs has got somebody
I
else he wants to bring up. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, he's well, go, you can let Joe bring it up. I think it's what if I remember what it was. I believe
Does the
another
name
individual.
name
Yep,
Tarzan Duran ring a bell?
Tarzan. That is one crazy. You know what? I'm gonna keep it PG tonight. I'm not gonna use any language, but that's one crazy. It's one crazy cat. I mean, that dude is. Whether you seen him on GTS or Pro Wrestling Venom or XPW, you
UWF, I've
got
seen him in the UWF. I've seen him
you
there. I
got
mean, XPWs you mentioned. Oh yeah.
I can guarantee if he can book Tarzan Duran in Memphis in that gymnasium, expect a bloodbath. More than likely.
I'll
because
even
he.
go further. I'll even go further for you. I'll finish a sentence for you. I would certainly make sure you have the coroner on staff. Make sure
Oh
you
yeah,
have the funeral department
911
around. I
maybe,
mean,
or the SWAT team or something. I mean, sheesh.
well, listen, we saw. Listen, I think it was Mac 10 had a sword on him yesterday. We had
Yep.
Mikey Anarchy there. We had Jimmy Controversy, who basically showed up, out in his vehicle. Basically said, "Bring it all on." I mean, I don't know. I mean, you bring Tarzan Duran into the mix. That's why you want to watch Lockdown, by the way,
Oh
January the
yeah.
27th for free on TikTok and watch the entire show, and especially that Cage of Hell. And I also want to give further breaking news for the audience before I get to some more comments. To be
Sure.
inducted as the 7th and 8th members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, from the foundation, the IMF World Champion, Soldier GP, who just defended his title at Winter Clash against the Sieve, and then the first ever IMF Hardcore Champion, who certainly sees himself now as the guy that can maybe go up there and compete with a Jimmy Controversy and a Mac 10 and a Mikey Anarchy, Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest. So they're going to be inducted. They're going to join you as colleagues in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Upcoming Saturday, right before the ball drops, right before New Year's Eve. They're going to be here at 10 o'clock Eastern Time to be inducted as the 7th and 8th members of the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the IMF's Soldier GP and Omen Black. And you can follow the IMF on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666, also IMF_wrestling on Instagram. And congratulate the guys on a highly successful IMF Winter Class show. Let me get to some more comments before I ask you a few more things. Mr. Allen, hopefully in the next few months, I will get to thank you personally in the ring. Stay tuned. He also wants to say, I actually knew about TBW before WCE, and he found out about you guys in 2019. And Mr. Anderson, the Grim Reaper, says, but don't think I forgot what you did to me, Painmaker. Your number will be coming up soon. You're on my list.
Well, Joe, we'll have to see. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there, pal. That's all I'm going to say on that. We have to cross that bridge till we get there. Because I know what you're referring to. I did it. You know, was it a business standpoint what I did back then? Yes, but you never forget. But hey, I led you, don't forget the guy that led you to the promised land, just like I led Titan. So keep that in mind, by
And some would say that you have led different people
the way.
to their most success in their careers. And,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
some of them, they're on a milk carton these days. They should be in witness protection if they're not already. So, I mean, that's certainly here nor there. But, before I get to a few more things here, and I'll come back to Mr. Tibbs in a second. But, I had to bring up because apparently for those that may not know this here on Sportswire Radio, you have quite the WWE 2K collection because now you got 17,
Yep.
18, 19, 20, Battlegrounds, 22, and 23. And you got to
Yep.
talk about the collection that you have in WWE 2K games. I know, obviously, being in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame was a great Christmas gift, but apparently, maybe your best gift yet was getting some WWE 2K games.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love being, collector. Of course, I used to collect the action figures, all that stuff, and when of course, now I got the whole collection of that. I love doing the whole customization stuff on there. It's a lot of fun, but it's been a lot. I haven't done any. It's been a long time since I've done any gaming stuff as that far as, but I just love doing the whole customization stuff. It's a lot of fun. You can just create your own arenas and characters, et cetera, et cetera. But but yeah, man, it's just a lot of fun. Whether it be gaming or wrestling or whatever. I mean, anything that just to pass the time. You know what I mean? But
Well, I
you know
find
I
these days I just pass the time being on SportsWire because at this point I have like a long list. It's almost like
right,
it's like long list to
right.
next year at this point. That's kind of my running
But
joke.
yeah, speaking of my bringing my podcast, I've got some I got some guests lined up. Um, a few people. I got two remaining guests for this year that I'm trying to squeeze in and work, and then next year I'm gonna bring it back next year around sometime soon. I've talked to I brought the name earlier, Channing Thomas. I'm gonna try to get him on there, another independent professional wrestler to be on the show. He said he'll might do it, and so but I've got Neff. the boat Neff. I got
We
him
had
lined up
Neff
for
on
a
Friday.
deal.
I mean, what an interview Neff was. I mean, Neff had a lot. He had a lot to say about all things related to everything else in Resurrection and TBW. He praised TBW. He had a lot to say about Resurrection, and he certainly gave an impression that he sees himself as the best of all time. And I'm sure he'll continue that conversation on your show as he gets ready for his final match in Resurrection Wrestling on January the 27th.
Right. I mean, Neff is, a lot of people will say he's braggadocious, but he backs it up.
He was the
The
world
guy's got
champion in that
plenty of
company.
potential.
Yeah.
He was undisputed champion. He calls himself the boat. I mean, he's earned that moniker for a reason, and what a talent he is. And that match between him and the Flame, what a grudge match. And of course, the Flame retained his title, the Internet Championship, and you know, now I guess next lockdown will be his final appearance there for Resurrection Pro Wrestling, and I mean, I, I hope him the best of luck in whatever he branches out doing. With best of luck to the boat.
We'll certainly find out. And also, Mr. Tibbs wants to tell us that he's in talks with a certain clown. Things to come, hopefully soon, for Rezi and a certain aunt of hardcore wrestling. Keep an eye on Resurrection Pro Wrestling. Not announcing
I
anything.
think I think I know who
I
he's
know who that is.
referring to. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna mention.
Let's say
I
nothing
know.
about that. I'm going to say nothing about that, but I will have more Resurrection Wrestling coverage on New Year's Day with Mikey Anarchy, the newest member of Resurrection Wrestling. He's going to talk about, I'm sure, some of the things we've spoke about tonight. And also, you can find out all things related to Resurrection Wrestling on a number of different platforms. You can also check them out, most importantly, on TikTok. You can check them out on YouTube at Resurrection Wrestling, Instagram Resurrection Pro Wrestling. If you want to go out and buy some merchandise, so in addition to buying our First Lady of Sportswire Radio a TBW shirt, we got to buy her a Resurrection shirt. So you go to People Resurrection Pro, TBW, People at TBW Merchandise Shop. So make sure you go to those platforms. Go support those who support us here in Resurrection Wrestling, and TBW have long done that here. I want to also congratulate again, because he's here once again, Soldier GP, the IMF World Champion, who's going to be inducted as the 7th member of the Sportswear Radio Hall of Fame coming up Saturday night. So it's going to be 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. He said he always knew he'd be a Hall of Famer. Well, you know what? I'm going to try my best, Soldier, to give you as good a speech that I gave Mr. Fletch, Mr. Allen himself, Mr. Parsley, Mr. Allmark, and Mr. Davis. So we'll have to see. And the IMF is definitely in the house. And D'Angelo the Flame definitely says it ain't over. I'm sure it'll be his last match. We'll have to find out. Before we move on to a few other things, there was somebody tonight that wanted to congratulate you on being in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Somebody that, you've obviously had a big history with, and you've certainly meant a lot to them, I suppose, in different ways. And, would you want somebody to come on here to, congratulate you and give you well wishes, or, maybe even respect you and being into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame? Let me finish that sentence.
If it's who I think it is, I hope it's somebody that actually, well, sure, bring it up. Yeah, bring him on, sure.
Well, it's not James Taylor. I can tell you it's not James Taylor.
Oh, God, I think I might regret my decision.
Are you sure you wanted to? I know we're getting ready for Christmas. I know Christmas is going to be in 49 minutes in New York. In Tennessee, it's in an hour and 49 minutes. I mean, you sure you want this person? Because they do want to congratulate you. They want to wish you very well at being in the Hall of Fame. And by the way, Commissioner Beast also wants to say that as long as this clown isn't from a comic book, leave it in Gotham. Well, I am in Gotham, so I can let you know, Commissioner Beast. And our First Lady is extremely excited and wants me to say who it is on air. But I can't do that until that guest wants to come on, because that guest has told me that they want to be an almost anonymous until they come on. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like that person has come on here for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio to congratulate you as the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the only Grand Slam champion in TBW history, and our reigning, defending hardcore champion, the man that we all respect now, the hardcore freaking king himself, the atomic freaking Titan. The floor is
Josh,
yours, champ.
As I
Joshua,
said, I regret my decision.
I'm here to congratulate you on the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I know we might not
Are you
have
sure you're
respect
not
for
coming
each
here to
other, but
gloat?
what?
You sure you're not coming here to gloat for once in your life?
No, I'm not coming here to gloat. I mean, I might have a few things to say because, this might be the last time I get to actually speak before season finale. You seen what happened last week? The disrespect by the Grim Reaper? Yeah.
What you you gonna leave again? You're gonna leave the place?
Leave
You gonna
again.
leave
You know
again?
what? The Tennessee State Classic, my return was actually uploaded 1 year ago today, December 24th, 2022. So today marks 1 year I've been back in Tennessee backyard wrestling. And I have done everything. I've done stuff people couldn't imagine doing.
We're the only Grand Slam champion in the company's history. And, obviously, I know you're here to certainly show your well wishes and congratulations. But, the Atomic freaking Titan, I mean, Joe Anderson did say a few things about you on Instagram and certainly on 156 and even here in these comments. But, I mean, how you feeling right now before that match? And Commissioner Beast is also trying to make your life a continued living hell, it seems.
Yeah, I was out there last episode and, I wasn't expecting to actually have a match because, people don't deserve to see me wrestle. And again, I was backstage laughing about what happened to him after he got slapped in the face. Oh, it's still funny, even after what he put me through. And he put me in a match with Russell Cooper. I had.
You had that match won, by the way. That match was yours. You had the match won, and all of a sudden we see him come out the Grim Reaper Joe Anderson, the 7-time hardcore champion.
And I know I shouldn't have been gloating and, telling the fans to respect me. I should have just went for the pin right there. And I had my back turned in the wrong time, and he, came from behind and did that disrespectful thing to me. So a
Okay,
TLC match.
so when you get stuff done to you, oh heaven forbid it's disrespectful.
I mean, it's true. You seen how much of a failure he was when he lost in the Gold Rush tournament. Something TBW management should realize that if I was in that position, I would have actually won. I'd be in the finals right now, going to season finale, possibly up against either Gage Flair or Jay Wild.
But you are the only Grand Slam champion in the company's history, though. I mean, so wouldn't you want to still be the hardcore champion? And by the way, I mean, you were mentioned last night on Sportswire Radio. I mean, guys like Jimmy Controversy, Mac 10, Mikey Anarchy. I mean, Obey even mentioned you last week on the air. So apparently, all those guys they want a shot at you. Maybe it's the haircut, maybe it's the new jacket, maybe it's just the new image, the new and improved. I mean, you say it's not new and improved, but if those guys, those respected hardcore champions, want a shot at you, maybe they the ones that finally acknowledge and respect you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the title they want. They want the title, not just this title. I'm talking about the title called the Hardcore King. They want that. It's because they're jealous and they want that, and they crave it. They just Atomic Titan's the real Hardcore King. I can't faith in that, I can't understand that. I don't know how he does what he does, but it's just because I'm the best. I've been the best since day one.
You have done nothing but piss on the name of hardcore. You made it look like shit. You've only had one hard. I've stated
That's
this
two now.
numerous times. You have made hardcore look like garbage. I didn't see you.
Okay.
I didn't see you going against Jimmy Controversy. I didn't see you against Alexander Mac 10. I mean, you know what? Let's bring up Omen Black a little bit here for a moment.
He's here, by the way. Omen Black is here, the soon-to-be 8th member of the Hall of Fame. He's here, by the way.
Let's bring up Omen for a little bit. If you're such a king, how come you won't challenge Omen? Titan,
Joe, Soldier GP just called him a hardcore princess.
Did you not hear my little Christmas story on Instagram earlier? I don't have to give anybody anything. They're unworthy. I take out all
What
of the
do you-
unworthy competition that
What do
wants to
you want us
step up.
to call it? Titan backyard wrestling, for fuck's sake?
It is. Look, I have the title to prove it.
Are you considering starting your own promotion?
If I did, it would probably be better than this junk that I'm on.
Well,
Wow.
but TBW though has gotten over almost 500,000 views though. So
Yeah, and I mean, you can thank me. Josh didn't appreciate me. He's here in this Hall of Fame because of me.
Well, would you want? Well, would you?
Oh,
would
you are
want-
so
oh, wait,
full
wait,
of
wait, wait.
shit.
Would you want to be in this Hall of Fame alongside Mr. Allen to show that maybe you're the biggest Hall of Famer? Maybe we need to respect the Hall of Fame and put in a king. Maybe we need to show that this Hall of Fame becomes a little bit more hardcore. Maybe we need to, show more respect and put somebody else in the Hall of Fame in January of 2024. I mean, do you want your place alongside Mr. Allen and maybe Mr. Black and Mr. GP and I guess Mr. Fletcher and Mr. Parsley and Mr. Davis and Mr. Allmark? Would that be something that, maybe would finally show that you've gotten respect because you are the only Grand Slam champion and some may say the only hardcore champion worth mentioning?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an honor, but those people, they don't mean nothing to me. So, being in a Sportswire Hall of Fame, that would mean so much because I would finally get the respect I deserve. That I've been so long just wanting. And people, they want to disrespect me. You see me on the last episode where I was out there. I was telling them I was a god because that's what I am. I'm the hardcore god. I told you. I made hardcore. I signed it. I sealed it. I'm the inventor. And there's nobody that can stop me.
Shit. You made it look like shit. And Tom, I apologize for my language, but you made it look like shit. You've only had one little hardcore match, and now you think you're hot shit. You got your little turtleneck, your little new haircut, your stupid sunglasses. I mean, what you think you're going to a Hollywood movie set or some shit?
But we are going Hollywood though. But
Yeah,
we're going
Hollywood.
The season finale is Hollywood. Season finale.
You are delusional. That's what you are.
Delusional? You've been fucking delusional for 6 or 7 years. I'm delusional? You want to say I've been the snake for so long, but who done it first? You are the original.
I got a bunch of comments.
Over and over.
Listen, let me get to commit. Omen Black is here. I'm going to come back to him in a second, but I want to say
Omen Black.
Well, Commissioner Beast wants to say you had 2 hardcore matches and you lost one of them. Laughing my ass off. Calm down, King. Oh no, he's claiming King and then is going to be in a Hall of Fame. Throw the gas on the fire already lit. So
you know what, Beast? I have something to tell you. You have disrespected me for far too long. I was laughing at you because it was funny because of all you did to me. Why wouldn't I laugh?
Yeah, but when the table's on you, it's all the disrespect.
I mean, it was disrespectful for what Joe Anderson did to me.
Well,
who interferes like that? Who does that?
The way I see it, hey, turnabout's fair play, pal. You laughed at Joe for losing against Chaotic in a clean loss. Something you can't do. Win a match clean or even lose one without being a sourpuss and crying about respect. I mean, for
fair, he had but wouldn't you make the case that he had his match won before Mr. Anderson interfered? I mean, Mr. Anderson, as you correctly pointed out, lost his match fair and square. I mean, Mr. Titan didn't lose his match fair and square. I mean, can you make that case?
I mean, I can. The case is,
he's right.
I mean,
This guy's right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
And our first lady of Sportswire Radio wants to say that she wants to put you in the Hall of Fame. So I guess we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame at some point. She likes the gold. Listen, she don't
gold.
Me, she likes you. She likes the gold. That's what it is. That's why I'm off to the side. But also, Omen, you brought up Omen Black for a second, Mr. Allen, and he has a few things to say about Titan, and what do you make of that, though, at time of time? Mr. Black had brought up to the fact that he wanted to introduce himself to you. Do you want
to bring him in? I mean,
you want him?
Yeah. What are we missing here? Let's see who this unworthy person is and wants to challenge me for this or something, come on.
You sure? So you sure about this? So you want?
Yes, I'm very sure. I would love to meet him face to face.
So you sure you want to meet him face to face? I mean, this is, we're live. I know it's Christmas Eve, and it's Chris. People getting ready to open up those Christmas gifts. I mean, this could be a Christmas gift you may not want. You sure
But
that
you better tell him he better not disrespect me.
So, do you think that he should come on to respect you then, right?
Yeah, come on, show his respect, and then move on, and we can go our own way.
So we'll let him on for a few minutes because it is Christmas, and we certainly want to say hello to Omen Black. He'll be in this spot Saturday. We'll induct him along Soldier GP as the 7th and 8th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and maybe we'll induct you as the 10th member in early January, maybe right after New Year.
The 10th member. You know what's a crazy fact is every Rumble I've been in, I was number 10. So that's a good spot.
So you're going to be the 10th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Congratulations. You'll be number 10. We'll let Mr. Black come on to say hello for a second, but I mean, obviously, the news here is that you are going to be facing Joe Anderson, so you're not concerned about Joe Anderson.
Joe Anderson, I really don't think he deserves the opportunity. Yeah, he has his rematch clause, and he's kind of upset about what happened. I literally sent him to the hospital for like a few weeks by concertoing him. But yeah, TLC match, something that has not happened in quite a long time. I can't remember the last time that's happened. I think like maybe season 1. But see, we're going into a new element. Tables, ladders, and chairs, whatever you can do with that.
We haven't had one of these in a while in TBW. I mean, you're not concerned about this?
There and prove I'm the hardcore king. And I'm going to walk out with my hand raised high as I retrieve this title from the very top over at scaffolding over the ring. I'm going to climb the ladder and retrieve it. So that's all I'm going to do best. I'm going to go out there. He's not going to collect my soul. I'm going to be the one collecting his soul.
I do want to bring up, I'll say hello to Jason Storm and James Taylor because they're basically suing each other because I think that I guess Jason Storm's mad about different people in the Hall of Fame. We will bring him on at some point in the Hall of Fame. We just have a list of people that we're trying to get through first. So, give everybody a chance. That's what we're here for.
Look, this is what I would tell Jason Storm. If you team up with the very best, then you will get in the Hall of Fame. I'll take you to the promised land. That's what I did for Joshua Allen. That's how he got here.
And you said I'm delusional. For fuck's sake.
So where is Omen Black?
Well, wait. We actually just had an issue. We're going to bring him right back up here. He should now have the link. So now he should just have gotten the link here on Sportswire Radio. So we're about to bring him on. So we apologize.
When he comes in, he better be on his knees, bowing down and giving the respect I deserve right here.
Well, I'm going to certainly not speak on behalf of Mr. Black. I believe we just had sent the link to Mr. Black. So, Mr. Black, you should have had the link by now, but I am sure that, maybe he'll say that, maybe he won't say that. I mean, certainly, if you are following TBW, I want you to follow them on YouTube at TBW 2017, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Check them out. And also, you can follow all things related to Joshua Allen. He is the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. You can check him out at Joshua Allen _TBW. That's Joshua Allen _TBW, and we're going to try one more time to connect with Mr. Black. I think now he should have the link with us here. For those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, he should now officially have that link. So we're just waiting for him to return. Jason Storm says, I should have been a first round ballot, but there is no first round. This is not the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I'm going to move on. But
you know what? I agree with him.
But we don't have a first round ballot though. We induct people. It's unanimous.
I mean, me and Jason Storm should have been number 1 or 2. That's what should have happened.
I mean, Dean Allmark though defeated Jushin Thunder Liger. I mean,
okay.
RPD is the only person in the entire country of Great Britain to win a boxing and wrestling world championship. But enough about that. He wants to say hello for a few minutes.
So,
congratulations, by the way, Omen Black. You're going to be the 8th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Hey, Tom, one moment. When I do get inducted, though,
yes,
I want to be like I want it to be like a respect night for the hardcore
Here we
king. I want
go.
people to be able to come on here and show me my respect and
I
everything.
feel like I give the 3-minute induction speeches. Aren't those respect enough? I give those 3-minute speeches. I think are pretty good. I mean, they're not bad. I mean, you're not getting that in TBW. I don't think Commissioner Beast is giving that to you. But enough about that. Omen Black, you're a fellow hardcore champion. I know you wanted to say Merry Christmas to Atomic freaking Titan for a few minutes.
No, but congrats
Titan.
to Josh Allen. You deserve it, man. Merry Christmas. Now, Titan, on to you. You want respect. You keep talking about respect, but yet you want to, dog in the name of hardcore wrestling.
Have you not seen what I've
done? Look at
done
you, your
with this
little
title?
turtleneck, that shiny belt that just looks like a normal belt. This speaks true hardcore. That's real barbed wire. I've cut someone open this past weekend with.
Nice.
See, Titan, I don't want your belt. I don't. Not at all. And I know you can't take mine, but one of these days, probably this next season, when I come up to Tennessee, we'll just see who's better. How about that?
Right. But I want to say something in what you just said that I couldn't take your title. I'm pretty sure I could.
You could? Yeah.
You might.
Yeah, I definitely could. I mean, you seeing how I got this and every other championship belt. I mean, I'm sure I could, come to Iowa or whether you come to Tennessee, put that title on the line. We'll see who the real hardcore champion is.
You're looking at him. Matthew Forsaken found out who it was. Damien found out who it was. And I want to formally say this. Nicholas Crenson, January 20th, will find out.
Ooh, that's a first here live on Sportswire. We'll be talking about that Saturday with Mr. Black and Mr. GP.
There's one more person.
Yeah.
Kodak Kid will definitely find out January 20th.
Oh! The man that was just on Sportswire Radio earlier this week, the brand new WCE All Out champion. I mean, he's going to be squaring up with you also?
I got another triple threat match, but yeah.
So I guess we'll be respecting you then. Really, we'll be having to respect you then.
See, I'm not gonna. By the way, I'm not gonna bore people to death, demanding respect left and right. Look, Josh is already damn near falling asleep listening to Titan demand respect.
Look, maybe you should take my advice and take some notes and not give people that are unworthy a chance for your title.
That turtleneck is unworthy.
You don't like the turtleneck?
No.
What about the haircut, though?
Fashion.
Do you like the haircut at least?
Look, I like your cut, G. I like your cut.
But look, the turtleneck, maybe you need one. I mean, it's good fashion. It's a good sense of, everything like that. Maybe you should get one. Maybe we could, maybe team up in the future.
Wait.
I could take you to the promised land.
If Omen Black has an ounce
if I'm gonna wear anyone's merch, the good guy, TJ Black.
I guess that's not Atomic Titan merchandise then, no?
No.
Not on Redbubble, Backspace People, Backspace
TV. You can go buy
I have a trash bag somewhere if you want to see me dressed like Atomic Titan.
Only you use Titans merchandise for is fucking toilet paper. Let's be real here. Come on.
Whoa.
Whoa! Ain't no bus on the freeway.
So what do you,
buddy?
All right, so I guess before I let both of you gentlemen move on, what are you guys getting for Christmas? And not each other in the ring. Are you guys getting anything special for Christmas since we're not far away from Christmas?
I just, Dirty Donnie just told me that who I'm facing on January 20th. That's the best present I got. I'm just slowly working my way up to Craven Rage because.
Now that's a guy that's really ducking you, by the way. I know you're just introducing yourself to the Atomic freaking Titan, who, by the way, is the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history. But speaking of champions that have ducked you for a long time, to be fair, I mean, Craven Rage, that's, MTV used to have a show called Punked. I mean, you basically punked him out, right?
He's slowly making his ranks through IMF, going through everyone else. Hell, there's even talk about him challenging my tag team partner. But
he hasn't wanted to challenge you, though.
Because I think he knows what Atomic Titan should know. When you step in the ring with me in a hardcore match, It's not going to go good.
Maybe Hornswoggle, when he was training him, told him that, you know what, don't mess with those that could be, certainly, a lot bigger than you in size. And certainly, maybe that's what it is, you think?
Hell, I even got Jimmy Controversy thanks to you, Tom, looking at my stuff.
Yes, Mr. Controversy, he spoke to me off the air, actually, quite a bit about you, actually. He was immersed in your abilities. That's all I may want to say on the air.
I feel bad too, Matthew Verstegen. I know you're watching this.
Yeah.
With Soul Foundation, but I just had to do what I had to do to get the title.
So I guess I'll want to come back to Mr. Round because obviously I've got a few more minutes with him. I want to formally give him a few more thoughts because it is his show. Technically, though it's your show, technically, Omen, but it's his ceremony
right now.
Oh, well, you're gonna get your Saturday. You're gonna be you and Soldier, so we're gonna get 2 for the price of 1. That'll be fun. But to you both, gentlemen, and I say hello to James Taylor, the nemesis James Taylor, who's here. We say hello to him, and we'll get to him at some point on a later date for sure when it comes to inducting him into the Hall of Fame. And I want to say hello to our first lady also, who says hello to you as well, Omen. But is there anything else that you guys might want to exchange pleasantries toward the Atomic Titan, Omen Black, before I let you guys sign off for the evening and finish it off with Mr. Allen?
Well, I was gonna say don't go around that guy up there saying that you had to do whatever it took to get the title, because he'll basically start going off on you and on Instagram saying that I was a cheater and everything else. So yeah.
So I guess when next season starts up in TBW, I'll be sure to bring the barbed wire, the glass, the staples, and I'll make sure to bring a shovel for your ego when I beat you.
Make sure it's a big one.
And I would just point out one more thing before I let
we will see about that.
And I want to just point out one more thing before I let you two guys sign off. And certainly we look forward to inducting you both into the Hall of Fame, you next week and you right after. Justin Parsley, you certainly did a number on him. He was supposed to be the first real wrestler. And, we don't know what the future is of Justin Parsley and Rob Slater.
They didn't show up.
Yeah, they didn't show up. They were supposed to be the first real wrestlers. The first.
I think they got lost at the same truck stop that I got lost at.
But you were here right afterwards. Your match where you basically nearly beat those guys to their death. You had no problem getting back home. But I guess they, in terms of getting to you, maybe they got, I don't know, maybe they found Craven Rage's path to not facing you, maybe.
You know what? That's be another thing. That Craven Rage challenges them just to duck me.
And he says that he's the greatest, but obviously we're gonna move away from that. But anything else you two gentlemen want to say before I let you guys enjoy Christmas with your families and such?
Merry Christmas to everyone watching, everyone behind Sportswire. Josh, congrats on being in the Hall of Fame. Titan, you'll get there soon, kid, but after me. But Titan, Merry Christmas, and
yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
You too.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say, Mr. Titan, as well, before I let you go say Merry Christmas and hold on to the hardcore title?
I'll put it out there. Thanks, Josh. Or congrats, on the Hall of Fame. I'll say that for once.
Look at that ego.
Congrats on something.
That's
But I'm still, I still need that respect from you. But besides that, yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Absolutely, and I have no doubt that we'll be seeing you gentlemen real soon. I'll be seeing you Saturday night, by the way, one more time, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Foundation's IMF Hardcore Champion, the boogeyman of the Midwest. He is the hardcore god from the IMF, their first ever hardcore champion, former world champion as well, Omen Black, to be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and Soldier GP, also the current IMF world champion who just defeated the Sieve in the main event there of Winter Clash. These guys are going to be our 7th and 8th people inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
I'm 7th. I'm
well,
7th.
I'll flip a coin. How about 7A and 7B?
It's my show. I'm 7th.
Okay, fair enough. So you know what? I'm not going to argue with that. It is Christmas. If you want to be 7, he can
I'm
be
about to
8.
say, Soldier took my belt. At least give me 7.
Oh, I'll
all
give
right?
you 7. I'll give you 7, and I'll even do better because I'll try my best to do a longer induction speech that I gave for you and I'll give for you and Soldier than I gave for Mr. Allen. So I look forward to all of that. Congratulations formally. I look forward to seeing you Saturday night, Atomic Freaking Titan. I want to congratulate you at some point, and Soldier confirms you can have 7, he can have 8, and I'll definitely see you guys, and Merry Christmas, and we'll speak with you guys definitely during the week.
All right.
See you, Tom. See you, Josh.
See you.
All right, and that was Omen Black and the Atomic Freaking Titan. So obviously, I know that you certainly were interrupted by them. I don't know if you felt too good about Mr. Titan. Omen Black at least was very complimentary. And also, let me get to a few more comments before I ask you a few more things. Also, James Taylor does say hello, so we say hello to James Taylor as well. The nemesis, James Taylor. Say hello to him. Also, want to say hello to congratulations from our friend Mr. Drake Golddragon, by the way. Drake Golddragon, big. That's another person we're looking forward to having here on Sportswire Radio, Mr. Golddragon himself. Before I get to closing thoughts, I want to ask you, what do you want to say to all of the people that have supported you and TBW into this journey that has led you to season finale in Hollywood, but most importantly, to become the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
Well, to the people of Sportswire, whether it be the fans, the first lady, or you, or anybody may be, I want to thank y'all for the honor and the privilege to be, be the 5th member of the Sportswire Hall of Fame, and I want to thank the fans that have, supported us over this journey that we have went through, whether I've been, been on the light side or the dark side as the Painmaker or whatever. Either way, either side of the fence I'm on. For God's sake, even when I'm a bad guy, I get sure I can't explain it, but it happens.
Because the fans love you. They know deep down that they love you. You have this larger than life personality. You have this lovable face. Truly, the people love you. What can I say? They love you.
But I appreciate it, and like I said, whether the OG television fans knew me as the Big Dog, which shout out to a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Howard Cochran, who was a coach back in my junior high days, gave me that nickname, and I kind of carried that on to the wrestling world. Then whether you know me as the Painmaker, whatever it may be, I want to thank everybody out there, and like I said, Merry Christmas to everybody, Merry Christmas Eve, and a Happy New Year for everyone going into 2024. And I hope, and to the big man upstairs, that next year will be a good year for everybody and into the future, whether it be wrestling or the real world itself. A lot of things going on in the real world today. It's crazy, but
oh my God, I don't even want to talk about the real world anymore. I wish BW world. I just wished that I could live where in my head all I hear is Josh Ross, Roger Cross, Troy Scott, and Commissioner Beast running things here. When he comes out there at that hat, they go TB-Dub, and go Beast,
right.
Beast.
Right. But yeah, I tell you what, it's been great, and but like I said, 2024, one of my goals is to get back into the ring. And hopefully, let me see. Because hopefully I'll have good old Thorogood playing back to the ring yet again with
yeah.
I have not used that song in years, man. Because a lot of people will know that from the movie Christine or Terminator or the Wrangler commercial. I have not used that number in a long time. That's when you think of 2W, that's the first song that I come to mind, whether it be being my original self, when you think of the Painmakers, Judas. But, the long story short, man, I've had a good run, whether it be the good baby phase or the heel side. I've had a great run being, whether it's being an active wrestler, whether it's being a manager, being a CEO, the owner. It's a lot of work. It's not like, it ain't sunshine.
It's not easy. Listen, I can tell you with Sportswire,
it's not.
I'm doing this 300 days a year. I do the radio station work, the editing, the clips, the promotion. It's not an easy life. People think, it's just I have a wrestling company. No, there's a lot of other things. You have to worry about costs. You have to deal with the weather. You have to deal with talent. You have to deal with egos. You have to do all these different things. And it's a hard life. To get to where you are, it's really like not easy at all. But
Trust me, this time of the
you fought.
this time of the year in December, weather's it's a big factor for us.
Absolutely.
In the South, it's a big factor.
I
And
mean,
so
listen, in New
we're
York, the
trying.
weather's terrible. I mean, look, it's like every
Oh yeah,
every weekend. Listen, every Sunday for like the last 6 months in New York, it's rained. I mean, it's like, unfortunately, like this is what we deal with. December, January, February are they're what they are. But when we get to March and April, we can count on season 8, and we can count a whole lot of things related to Tennessee backyard wrestling. And most importantly, you can still see right before that, you can see the season finale as TBW goes Hollywood. You can watch it on YouTube at TBW 2017. I want to give a big shout out one more time to Drake Golddragon, because he says, I don't usually do this, but I hope everyone has a great Christmas and be safe. Yes, obviously here in New York, we're getting ready for Christmas, and in Tennessee, we're getting ready for Christmas. And our First Lady wants to say that you were awesome. Your story is so inspirational, and it's not done yet. It's not done yet. We got a lot more ahead when it comes to this story. Obviously, I want to give you the floor. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And I'm looking forward to now having you on more often and always calling you the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and a Hall of Famer. But until then, anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And the floor is yours, and fire away, my good friend.
Well, I want to, of course, thank the talent in the back, which is the driving machine that we have. That is all the talents. Yes, I'll even put Titan in there as well. Even though I'm not, I'm not a jolly when it comes to him, but he is a key member. You can't not exclude him, even though I don't like his choices. But you got to put him in there. And that's not a respect thing. Let me get that clear, folks. That's not a respect thing. That's a business standpoint. And but I think I all the talent that we have, Rev Carter, the best referee that we've ever had.
One of the
Great
best in the
referee.
business. I mean, Ref Carter is right. To me, he's right up there with Festus and XCW. I mean, and Ref Carter, I think, again, he's in the best shape of any ref in the business. This man's he's got like no fat at all on him.
Oh yeah, Rev Carter he's a great referee, great official and a great asset to TBW. And but yeah, there's a lot of exciting things going to happen next year with TW. We will be back in March. We're taking January and February off. It'll be an off season. During that off season, I believe we're going to be getting things prepped up for the next season, as in some training here and there, because we got to get ready for it. I mean, obviously, because I know we're having the holidays and everything, and New Year's we got to get everything ready to rock and roll for season 8 and everything, and and of course I'll still be heading to the gym as well. Trying to get to get back into that ring shape, which is one of my plans. And once again, hopefully shutting up the loudmouth himself. But that's a can of worms for the time. I mean, I just but on that subject for a little bit, I just I don't care who you are or where you're from. Every time that feud ignites, people like it. I can't.
What did I tell you? Listen, when I speak about you, I speak about the Atomic freaking Titan on this show. It generates a certain electricity. It generates a certain enthusiasm. By far, this generates more engagements, more reactions. And again, when I have on some of the most respected and accomplished pro wrestlers in this sport, you guys, to be honest, you guys have more engagements and more reactions. And that's not a slight on them. It's just that they don't have the fan base that you guys have. They just don't.
And course, I mean that has to deal with the way wrestling has evolved, especially in the backyard world. I mean, it's evolved so much over the years. And I think social media played a big factor with YouTube, Facebook, all the social media platforms. They played a big factor. As backyard evolved.
And I think a lot of pro guys, honestly, they didn't stay ahead of the curve. And I think a lot of these guys that, they still have a mindset. Again, I don't want to spend too much on it because it's a special moment here for you. But like a lot of guys feel like I'm a pro wrestler. I don't have to cut a promo. I don't have to promote myself. I'm a professional wrestler. But the truth is, if you're a pro wrestler, that's great. But if you don't promote yourself, I don't know who you are. I know who you are, and I know who Titan is.
Promoting is the biggest thing you can do in wrestling, whether you're a backyarder, independent, underground, professional, you have to promote yourself. Get the card out there, get your
Absolutely.
merchandise out there, get your show out there. You have to promote. Promote, promote, promote. Get the word out. Because if you're wanting to have, let's say, a live venue or a live show and you want people to come out, what do you got to do? You got to promote, create flyers, make flyers, advertise. That's the key thing. If you're going to be in wrestling, you have to promote. Communication is key, definitely 100%.
1010%. And ladies and gentlemen, for all of those reasons, that is why Josh Allen is the successful owner of one of the premier, not just backyard wrestling companies, but wrestling companies in the world called Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, who are just about to complete their 7th season here. And from their humble beginnings back in April 2017 in Lafayette, Tennessee, their goal has always been to entertain you and put a smile on your face. And they've done that by putting on kick-ass matches, storylines, and have brought in new talent from all over the world to accomplish that mission. And that's also why they've garnered over 6,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, generated nearly 500,000 views, and they're getting ready to go Hollywood, and they'll shatter that and some here. And we can't wait for the future for TBW. You can follow them on all of their platforms, especially watch the season finale, Going Hollywood, at TBW 2017 on YouTube, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, and also buy some merchandise, especially for that loved one, for that last-minute Christmas gift or whatever else it might be. You need to do that at redbubble.com/people/TBW merch shop. Joshua Allen, follow him on those platforms here. TikTok at Joshua Allen _TBW, and his brand new podcast, Beyond on the Squared Circle podcast, at the Spotify link below. Congratulations, my friend, on formally being inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as the 5th member. As I stated at the beginning, you earned this the day you formed Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on April the 2017th. And this is going to be the first of many Hall of Fames that you will be in. I look forward to speaking with you real soon. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless you and your family, and continue your journey. And I can't wait to see, and I can't wait to see more Elvis stuff from you as well, because you're definitely working your way to being the greatest. Like Elvis is the greatest all time in music. You're working on being the greatest promoter, greatest owner, and wrestling personality of all time. So keep up all out of it. A rising tide lifts all boats. You were definitely part of that. And thank you so much for everything. And thank you for allowing us tonight to spend time with you, to induct you, as I continue to state, as the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Tom. I really do appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 5th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, officially now Joshua Allen. He is the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, who is getting ready to complete its 7th season upcoming here. It's called Season Finale Goes Hollywood. We'll have more updates for it on the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling YouTube page at TBW 2017, Instagram, TikTok at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Also, for merchandise to support them, go to redbubble.com/people/TBW merch shop. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, I'll be back tomorrow for a Christmas early afternoon special with Jacoby Pleasant of Resurrection Wrestling, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday, to be inducted as the 6th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Ernest Dove, contributing writer for the New York Mets minor league affiliate, also and a freelance reporter on Sportswire Radio, and Chase Wakefield, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So a lot to do, but until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, enjoy the movies, enjoy the games, enjoy whatever you're doing here on the #1 global radio station that is Sportswire Radio. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.